Cardinals have still, all the teams that are sitting in the relief market, they're sitting on it. You got some power agents controlling most of the elite relievers as far as their futures. Jeff Passan was talking about how Scott Boras, of the free agents that still remain on the market, and this is all players, not just pitchers, Scott Boras has like 15 clients.
Wow.
So basically, ain't a damn thing going to happen until Scott Boras says it's okay. You got to have Scott Boras' permission because he basically is in charge of the offseason. So if you're wondering, like, well, what's the holdup? Why haven't the Cardinals gotten a reliever? Listen, I'll defend the Cardinals on this one because who the hell is signing relievers? I'm not talking about just guys. I'm not talking about arms. I'm talking about good quality, dare we even say elite relievers. The Cardinals are not alone here. There's a lot of big boy teams trying to decipher this market and come up with a reliever or two that's going to really change their bullpen. So if you want to blast the Cardinals for that, you can make fun of them because of the inactivity in the bullpen front. But when you see the list of Boras clients and you understand the reasons why he's slow playing it, which is what he always does, I mean, his job is to his client. His responsibility is to get the very best deal that he can possibly get. And if that means slow playing, if that means waiting for someone to come to the table that's going to be coming to the table late, if it means pitting one team against another, if it means Scott Boras getting John Heyman on the phone and saying, Josh Hader, we got a secret team in the bidding. That one is a staple of the offseason. Scott Boras, somebody reporting that all of a sudden, Scott Boras has a mystery team in the bidding for client A. And everyone's, who could it be? Who's the team? There is no team, okay? But we fall for it every year. I haven't seen any mystery team stuff yet. So the way I look at it, Boras, you don't know, we won't know that he is getting close to making some deals for his clients until we see or hear John Heyman talking about, mystery team suddenly showed up. They're in the hunt for, whoever. Because that's like Boras's last card that he plays. It's like, well, there's, he's got some really good offers, but he thinks he can top it. So he needs to make the front runners who are, offering the most money, he needs to get them to sweat a little, just the way Ohtani's agent totally played the Toronto Blue Jays because he wanted to squeeze more out of the Dodgers. That's how it works. And there's no shortage of national baseball pundits who will play ball and help the agent accomplish what they want to accomplish. I remember when Matt Holliday, the Cardinals, really great deal by John Mozeliak got Matt Holliday in July of 2009, and Holliday was going to be a walk-year guy, free agent after the season. And Cardinals were confident. They had indications that Holliday really wanted to be here, and they were really confident that he would sign here. But they wanted to have him actually play for the Cardinals for a while and get sort of reinforce his positive feelings for it. And even though the Cardinals lost in the first round of the Dodgers that year, and we always remember, unfortunately, Matt Holliday in Game 2 where the Cardinals were on verge of a victory, and there was a scorching line drive, and believe it or not, there were some lights turned on. It was late afternoon at Dodger Stadium, and it was kind of a gray day, and there were some lights on, and so this thing's just how some of these line drives just they careen. I mean, they're like it's like I don't know if you're kids, you'd play baseball or play something out in the streets when it was starting to get dark a little bit.
Yep.
And you'd have bats, like just bats all over the place, diving, coming at you, veering off. It's like, whoa, I can't keep. That's kind of how that line drive was. I mean, and Holiday got a little bit of a glare in his eyes, and just didn't really track it well, and it was kind of swerving on him and everything else, dipping on him and everything else, and he failed to make the catch, and Dodgers went on to win. And I know Matt Holliday probably to this day just curses the very mention of that. But anyway, let me get to the point. So at the end of the offseason, when it's we're into the offseason and it's time for Matt Holliday's future to be determined, the Cardinals made a really good offer. Boras waited, and he waited, and he waited, and he waited. And this was one of the times in Boras's career where the client, kind of didn't play along with the mystery team nonsense. Holiday didn't get a lot of offers. And the absolutely, insane Holiday haters, and they're still out there, they say, well, yeah, because he wasn't any good, Bernie. He never got a clutch hit the entire time he was here. He could not hit in the clutch. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that .326 batting average he had with runners in scoring position as a Cardinal. Yeah, that's just garbage, isn't it? Anyway, it's just stupid people, I tell you what. Anyway, all these other general managers knew that Holiday really wanted to be in St. Louis. And they weren't going to, basically be a pawn in the Scott Boras game. Oh, there's a mystery team, according to John Heyman. No, there was never a mystery team. Boras was trying to make people in the media and the Cardinals, he was trying to get them to believe that the Boston Red Sox were lurking. They're about to make their move. It never happened. I mean, from the day that trade was made, Matt Holliday was going to re-sign with the Cardinals. I mean, I guess there would be a small chance he wouldn't have had the Cardinals lowballed him, but no, they gave him a great deal, and it was one of those deals in free agency that you can honestly say worked out great for both sides. It was great for the Cardinals. It was great for Holliday. Everybody was happy, and he's now Team Hall of Famer. So beware the rumors. Beware the rumors, and we'll see what happens, but it's been a slow market on the reliever front. And, I'd like to see the Cardinals make a move. I'd like to see them get busy. But, again, in fairness, there are a lot of teams waiting and waiting and waiting to see what some of the next moves are for the reliever market to take off. And the Cardinals are in that group. And then you have a situation where, Jeff Passan, who does a great job, of course, for ESPN, he was talking about the Josh Hader market, and he was talking about how much Hader would get, and he was talking about how, it probably is going to come down to this. Is he going to get the $100 million? It was more like $103 million that the Mets gave Diaz, their closer, before the last offseason, and then remember he got hurt in the World Baseball Classic, didn't pitch for him. But they gave him like a 5-year deal, I believe it was, $105 million, something like that. Is it going to be that kind of deal, or is it going to be an Aroldis Chapman deal when he got 5 years, $87.5 million, I think it was, from the Yankees, something like that. So the fact that the reliever market is still pretty cold, Passan, he indicated, or at least the impression I got, is that maybe Hader's not going to get the $100 million. But what he did is he listed the teams that are looking for impact relief, and he had the Cardinals on the list, and he was the last team they mentioned. He mentioned 6 or 7 others. And, of course, just because their name was on a list, there was nothing more to it than that. Just the fact that their name was in the same, 5-paragraph section that had Josh Hader. Gentlemen, start your blogging. Got 7,000 Cardinals are, they're in the hunt for Josh Hader. Oh, Cardinals are on the verge of getting Josh Hader. Passan said nothing like that. I mean, not even anything remotely close. I mean, that is a made-up piece of junk. Their name was on a list with a bunch of other teams that, I would think that maybe the Cardinals put a call in to Boris about that. Why wouldn't they? Doesn't mean they're going to spend $100 million. I'd be highly doubtful on that front. But I just wish Scott Boras would let us all know. I mean, it would just be nice, like those of us who do talk shows and write columns, whatever. It'd be really nice to really know his schedule. And just like, if he just sent out a communique to all the meetings, said, listen, none of my clients are going to sign before this date. So you all just like enjoy some downtime. Don't worry about it. None of my guys are signing until this date. I just hope it doesn't carry into February, Jim Ewer, what's up? Go ahead, man.
Not much. I'm with you on the I hope it doesn't go into February, but we're 6 weeks away from pitchers and catchers, right around there, from getting after it. I got to think at some point, some of these guys got to start going, hey, I need a place to play. Let's get this done. I need to figure out where I'm going to play next year. I'm hopeful we get some noise. And as you're discussing this story with Passan and we know, as you're telling us here, that Boris kind of controls this, I wonder how he would feel about the conversation we were having on the show before Christmas when we were like, it'd be cool if they just kind of put a dedeline, a beginning and an end of free agent, and just say, boom, there it is. Everybody's got to sign within this era. I don't know if Boris would go for that.
No, he won't go. Of course not.
For the reason that he's got where he wants right now with the reliever group.
Well, it's because of his history. When he slow plays it, he always gets, 9 times out of 10, he gets a great, great, great deal for his client. So it's not only just Boris, it's the Major League Baseball Players Association. They're never going to agree to that because they see how the elite agents, the way they slow play the market most of the time, and the fact that the contracts values continue to go up and up and up and up. And that is a huge factor. So why would the Major League Baseball Players Association or Scott Boras or any number of big-time agents, why would they? What would be their motivation to agree with it? I mean, their clients aren't. It's not like their clients are, sitting locked in a room. He's got them held captive. They're in a straitjacket. I mean, you hire Scott Boras for a reason.
That is true.
And, he usually, I don't know the percentage, but he pretty much hits a home run every time out when it comes to representing his clients. But, yeah, it's bad for baseball. It's really bad for baseball. It's great for him. It's great for his client. Great for the Players Association because all they care about is like, oh, okay, man, we got to, the higher the contracts, the better it is for everyone because that'll increase the cost of doing business in future free agent classes. Or it'll help free agents that are still out there. If Hader gets this, then that means Robert Stevenson will get more than we thought. Something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's right. So that ain't going to change.
It's a shame.
Simply ain't going to change.
It's frustrating, especially as a fan, because the only thing we've seen is within the last couple of weeks is anybody from overseas that is signed. That's pretty much it. And he has no control over that, speaking of Scott. So,
right.
It's like, oh, boy. I would love to start to see a few of these dominoes fall, though. But, Arnie, if we're sitting here on January 4th. I bet you we got another 2.5, 3 weeks before anything starts to move again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it certainly would be nothing really unusual about it anyway. So we'll wait and see what Scott Boras' schedule is.
And the Cardinals are in on all of them, as you just pointed out. Oh yeah, they're talking. Yeah, sure they are. I'll believe that when I see it. Don't get sucked in, people. Don't get sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are we collectively? And by the way, I'm not putting myself in this group,
right?
And when I do dumb things or say dumb things or I'm wrong, I'll be the first to tell you. I don't have any problem admitting that. But how many times were we subjected to these Yamamoto fantasies that literally had 0% chance of happening, and you had people that should know better feeding it like as if, oh yeah, well they're still in it for Yamamoto. Imagine that. They weren't anywhere near it. They hadn't been in it for weeks.
They weren't even on the same planet with it.
I know, and then it turned into a couple of the other international pitchers. So well, they're going to get they're really in it for Woo Suk Go or whoever,
right.
Whoever the hell he is, and all these other that other reliever, that lefty reliever that just signed with the whoever the hell.
The Padres got that market cornered.
Yeah, they do. So no, but so we'll. I had some fun in a way. I was devious.
Yes.
I was devious because I wrote a Bernie Bits column. If people want to go look at it, I would appreciate it. We go to scoops@dennymac.com. I got a lot of stuff in there. But I thought, because I was talking about the relief market a little bit, and I thought, what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a troll. This is a troll move. I'm going to put a photo of Josh Hader in there.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah. Just total troll move.
Good for you.
Because the way we are now in our culture, like you just see a photo of someone in a store, it's like, oh, no, is it possible? Why would Bernie have his photo in there? So see, I'm really being a bad person by doing that, but I'm trying to entertain myself, right?
That's part of where life is nowadays. I mean,
yeah.
I'll admit there are times I'm guilty. I'll see a photo of somebody on a store and I go, what's this person got to do? And then you start going there. Well, this person has nothing to do with it. It's just
I know, right?
Yep.
By the way, since we mentioned San Diego, I wanted to mention something about Mike Shildt. I find this very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced his coaching staff yesterday. I mean, it's some holdovers from the staff they had last year, and a couple people moved up from their minor league system. They brought in a coach or two who had worked for other major league teams. It's kind of a mishmash. But
mm-hmm.
Mike Shildt will not have a bench coach.
Oh.
And he tipped his hand by saying, well, I'm sure that people make a lot bigger deal about this than it really is. And it's like, one thing about Shildt, I think he's pretty good with media stuff, except his wife or someone's got to tell him every time I read a Shildt story, and every time I read a Shildt story when he was managing the Cardinals, the word holistic would be in there. And, just listen. Shildt, find some new words. You wear certain words out. Nobody wants to read holistic, and every time you talk for 5 minutes, just like holistically, from a holistic standpoint, stop it. Anyway, that's just like my favorite, and I probably drove some of my listeners crazy because, like Jim Hewer even said it until I mentioned and went off last week about I'm so tired of this line to gain, in football. Oh, he's short of the line to gain, and Jimmy Hewer said, now that you mention it, what's up with that? Why don't they just say short of the first down? So I'm sure some of you had it in your heads. Once you noticed it in one of the games in the NFL, college football, whatever it is, it probably like stayed in your head for a while, because now I'm very aware of it. If you took a shot of vodka every time one of these monkey see, monkey do broadcasters, like them, they followed the leader, whoever started this thing. If you took a shot of vodka every time you heard that during a broadcast, college football or NFL, I mean, they'd have to take you to the hospital, and hopefully you would survive.
I will say this:
it never ends.
I heard it all weekend, and I never paid attention to it until you mentioned it. And all weekend I go, right? Oh my gosh, it's every time, and
it's unreal.
I am convinced after actually focusing in on it accidentally over the weekend those guys are being told to say that because they
have
want
to be.
They want the people to understand the line, the yellow line, or whatever the lines are that they got superimposed on the screen. Because I heard Will McDonough do it, and I went, Will McDonough wouldn't be saying line to gain. He's an old school guy. He was doing this beforehand. He was always get to the first down, get to the first down. And once I heard him saying it, I go, oh, this is what they're being told to do. Because you're right.
It's got to be.
Everybody. I didn't hear anybody say one time this weekend, he's close to the first down. It was always the line to gain. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Well, back to Schilt. I'll make this quick, and we'll take a break, and we got some Blues to talk about and a couple other things. I have a theory, because as soon as I read it and as soon as I saw his quote, well, there'll be people making a bigger deal about this than they should. Which to me, I know how to read Schilt. To me, that's like a tip. That's like a tip off. Like the thing he's trying to avoid, creating speculation about why this is. He's not going to have a bench close, but by trying to act like it's nothing. There'll be people trying to make a deal over it, but it's nothing. By doing that, he's actually telling us that it's a big deal.
Exactly.
And here's my speculation, and it's pretty straightforward. And it's not. I always, when I speculate on something, I at least have some sourcing on it. Mike Schilt did not have a. Well, it was pretty tough when he got fired. It was. I'm not being facetious. That was tough.
Mm-hmm.
That zapped him. It just he never saw it coming, and he was just crushed. And Schilt had already started showing signs, in my opinion. And again, I've been around sports for decades, and I know it when I see it. Some signs of paranoia. The all-time paranoid Cardinals manager in my lifetime was Mike Matheny. He was unbelievable, but Schilt was starting to show that a little, even though they were winning. And I always wondered, I wonder why why does he have a little touch of paranoia? Like, he's secure. As it turned out, he wasn't. But a lot of it was his fault, because he was trying to tell Bill DeWitt and John Mozeliak that he was calling the shots,
Yep.
Nah.
It don't work that way.
Got a little too full of himself. But anyway, so to this day, Schilt, would deny it, of course. He's wondering, exactly, other than the fact that him and Mozeliak couldn't agree on certain things, and Schilt just wouldn't stand down, which is kind of what the baseball managers have to do. We all have bosses. That there must have been more. Somebody must have been, sabotaging me or whatever. And all you got to do is connect the dots. I said the day it happened, in the morning, in the afternoon after it happened, I said, well, there were some problems on that staff, and some of the guys on that staff really were fed up with him because of the way he was treating them. And it's not a good situation. And then he was getting into it with Mozeliak, and trying to dictate to Mozeliak, well, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're fired. But he wasn't fired just for that. He was also fired because of kind of turbulence on the coaching staff and animosity on the coaching staff, and the fact that it just became this thing where he's talking nasty to some of his coaches, and they felt disrespected and that kind of stuff. Again, I don't know why he was getting paranoid and starting to do that. It didn't make any sense. The Captain Queeg routine. But who was there that was a manager in training, not only under Mike Schilt, but before that, Mike Matheny? Who turned Ali Marmol from a minor league player, didn't cut it, no shot taken there. I'm just saying, he didn't make it as a player.
Right.
But who gave him a job as a coach right away? Well, that would be John Mozeliak. Who gave him a minor league managing job? A couple of them. That would be John Mozeliak. Who brought him to the major leagues? That would be John Mozeliak. Who pivoted from Schilt right away to Marmol? That would be John Mozeliak. I mean, just follow the bouncing baseball. This ain't too hard to figure out. So Mike Schilt, it's kind of like, well, I don't know what went on with Ollie, but, man, he got that job right away. But, I got my suspicion. He didn't say this, but listen, again, I'm pretty plugged in on this stuff. Schilt's like, well, heck, and again, I'm just having fun with explaining it as if like Schilt would be thinking out loud. Well, first of all, I'm working for A.J. Preller, and he's in the middle of everything. And I saw it happen to Bob Melvin. A.J. Preller's got guys in the clubhouse that are going to backstab the manager, and, they're going to try to benefit from it. Interestingly enough, some media in San Diego and Los Angeles thought that Schilt was Preller's guy in the clubhouse, right? Uh-huh. So Schilty still got a little of that paranoia. He's like, well, I'm not sure if Ollie did anything, but it was awfully funny how quick they knew right away what they were going to do. And, Ollie, Ollie might have got me on that one, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So he's like, no, I don't want any more. I don't want a bench coach. I'm in charge. I don't want any question about the authority here,
Oh, boy.
And so, because he's going to have A.J. Preller down there stirring things up, talking to coaches. If you don't have a bench coach, no one's really in line to succeed you, and I don't think Schilt's going to get fired in 2024. But with Preller, who's just a little goofy in the head, he just doesn't – he just never backs off. He's down there second-guessing everybody. And in that kind of culture, there's never any shortage whatsoever of coaches or people, but specifically coaches, who have no problem reading the terrain, knowing that Preller's down on the manager, and it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to be his guy down here. I want AJ to come and, talk with me, because I'll tell him what's really going on. That kind of thing. So Schilt's trying to remove a potential spy is what he was doing there. Now, if he heard this, he'd be laughing and saying, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's crazy at all. Because who the hell doesn't have a bench coach?
Right.
He was a bench coach. He was next in line when Matheny was having a hard time and starting to crack up. And he cultivated the media. Schilty did. And there's nothing wrong with that. He became a guy that people like me wrote about positively, about really smart guy, this and that. He's been trained to be a manager. He will be the Cardinals manager, the next one day. And I really believe that. I said that, wrote it 100 times. He will be the next manager of the Cardinals. Why? Because of what I just relayed a few minutes ago. John Mozeliak is directly responsible for Mike Schilt's baseball career. He hired him into the organization, and he put him in a coaching position. He made him a minor league manager. He elevated him to the big club, made him the bench coach. And so when they decided that was enough of Matheny, well, who was in position to gain from that decision? Well, we know who it was. So Mike Schilt, he knows all about the strategizing that goes on with some bench coaches in Major League Baseball as soon as there's a little blood in the water, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Schilt knows all about that. He knows it from when the blood in the water with Matheny. He kind of knew, well, this could be my chance. And as he was trying to have this power fight with this really, really misguided power, I'm going to show you, no, I'm not going along with that. Here's how we're going to do it. And that stuff's getting back to all the coaches, and they're probably giggling a little, quite frankly. Well, when there was some signs of some blood in the water, who stood to benefit from that?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep, absolutely true.
So this is why Mike Schilt is like, no, AJ, I don't need no bench coach.
I'll be fine.
He doesn't trust anybody.
Oh boy, that's bad. When you get a job like that, you feel like you can't trust anybody.
It's just, gosh almighty. But then again, this is what front offices have done to managers. They really, this is what they have weakened that position so much, and it sets up a system where it's easy for bench coaches, other coaches, to kind of backstab the manager if they sense the manager's in trouble or the manager's gone down a path that probably not wise to go down, where he's going to tick off the front office, right?
It's kind of how it works.
Yep.
By the way, we just got a text that says, by this logic, Descalso is going to be the next Cardinal manager, by the way.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I got no predictions, right?
Yep.
Because I think because of the new three starting pitchers, the fact they're going to get a lot more quality starts, they're going to get a lot more innings, they're going to have a stable rotation. I think John Mozeliak will go out if he has to during the season to make sure it remains stable. But the Cardinals can't help but take a pretty good leap in terms of wins. It ain't going to be what we want probably, but let's see what they do with the bullpen. But, everybody assumes, and I'm seeing this all over the place, well, if they don't make the playoffs and Marmol gets it, hey, this situation's right there. We know what's going to be next. Yadi's going to be the manager. Huh. I understand that. I ain't knocking anybody who believes that or who speculates on that. I really don't, because it's perfectly logical. But it'd be really kind of stupid to automatically overlook Descalso in that type of scenario, because Descalso can have a lot of impact next season. And he is a personal favorite of not only John Mozeliak, but Bill DeWitt. And he and Ollie have a good relationship, don't get me wrong. But with Yadi, I mean, the Cardinals would have to be 100% convinced, and then some, that he's really ready to manage. And they'd also have to, they really also have to try to figure out what it would be like for him, being a manager, whether, he would be resistant to certain things. And no, I'm not saying they want to have a puppet. They don't, but I don't think they want a guy who's going to take reports from analytics and just light a match to it, every day. And, or when there is a logical and an intelligent piece of information passed down every single time. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Yadi's used to being the boss of everything, right?
He is.
So I'm just saying, if I would have to handicap it, and by the way, I ain't rooting for Ollie Marmol to be fired. I think he's going to do a better job this year. It starts with pitching, with rotation stability, more stability. I'm not going to sit here. If I had to handicap this and bet on it, I would bet on Molina, but not as much as other people would. That's all I'm trying to say. Descalso is the candidate that could really, really, really strengthen his position to be the next guy, especially if the Yadi thing doesn't go well in 2024. Because we all going to have to wait and see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm. True.
Coming and going, back and forth, going to Puerto Rico. Well, where is he? I don't know. That kind of stuff. If it in fact goes that way. Descalso's perched. He's right there. So anyway, let me take a break here. I apologize.
All right.